And welcome back to the Boundary Corner podcast. Along with my partners, Brian Siegler and Jonathan Talley, I am Curtis Wilson, and we are brought to you by the Main Street Pharmacy in Blacksburg, Virginia. Dr. Jeremy counts himself. If you haven't seen Jeremy, he's got a new local podcast. Check it out with him and Paul Van Wagner. Again, 301 South Main Street Pharmacy. Fellas, been a couple weeks. How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm doing glorious, man. I'm doing real good. Had a good day. Got in the office today. Got to see some folks, hang out a little bit, play a little Mario Party with the family tonight. So it's been a solid day.
Better than I deserve. That's what I always say, man. I've been ripping and running with baseball, and we actually have baseball and basketball going on right now, but getting ready for a cruise. So we are packing and cleaning and doing all of that. So glad to be back, though.
Absolutely, Tally. I'm with you. We head on vacation next week for a few days. I am like probably 2 days behind you as far as getting ready to go. I mean, me and Tally were joking. We were joking just before we got on here. It's like 15 bags of laundry before we get out of the house. It's the honest truth. Brian, you know you're going to go through the same thing in a few weeks when you head to Gatlinburg.
It's coming up, man. It's coming up. I'm pumped, man. Dominion sent me my tickets today, so I was printing out the tickets and getting all that stuff ready to roll. So it's going to be a good time.
Oh yeah, I gotta go ahead and address the hat that we got on tonight. So
there we go.
Or anybody ask, my daughter graduated high school. We didn't know if she was gonna make it. She did make it. No, I'm joking. But she's getting ready to go to college. She is going to my alma mater. She'll be headed to Jacksonville State. So her and my wife went down to orientation and decided to get me a new Jacksonville State hat. I kind of feel old because it says Jacksonville State Dad. I don't feel like I'm supposed to have a kid going to college. You know what I'm saying? I still feel like I'm young. Like I feel like me and Kevin's supposed to be partying in Nashville, and Chris too. But
hey, man, you know, sometimes you got to embrace it a little bit, right? Like so.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where I can't do it like I used to, but I can still throw down when we need to.
Okay, I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm all right with that.
Exactly, and you know, Nashville is, you know, believe it or not, we're under 100 days before Nashville happens.
Try not to think about it. Stop bringing it up.
I mean, the summer's flying through right now. It finally got hot, humid. You go outside. I look out my window. I can still see a little bit of daylight left.
Right.
So it is that time of year, and you know, all sorts of fun stuff. But hold on, I got to hit this one. I don't know who this is. I'm gonna tell you. Some days I feel 25. Some days I feel 85.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
Yep.
I feel pretty good lately, though. I'll give myself that.
I agreed.
I'm in my prime.
Don't say Brian that, because Brian is he's on the precipice of a number in the next few weeks here. It's true. What? You catch up for a few months.
I got 18 days, man.
18 days. 18 days. Well, it's also been a fun time for us because of what we got to do yesterday. And for the second time we got to do it, it was an absolute blast. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and roll the tape. And
we'll see y'all in a little bit.
See y'all in a little bit. Podcast listeners, it is our pleasure for the second time to have head coach Brent Pry join us. Coach Pry, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You guys stole me away from the hustle and bustle of the daily routine. I got like a stack of papers this high on my desk. So thank you.
Always glad to switch it up for you. Glad to do it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Glad to have you back, Coach.
Same.
Well, Coach, we know it has been just a little over a year since we last talked, but we got a bunch of stuff we want to ask. And again, we really appreciate you taking your time to speak with us and Hokie Nation today. And I'm going to start here. So back in May, we got to clink a few drinks together. Saw you out at the tailgate tour here in Richmond at Hardywood. And obviously you went up to Northern Virginia, You've had chalk talks all over the state with high school football coaches. We know next week you're heading over to Hotel. Is it at Hotel Roanoke?
Yes, sir.
Next week, big event there. You had the women's clinic that's taking place in the off season. So the season ended, spring ended. You ain't stopped. But how important is it to have these fan and donor engagement events in the off season? Then what's been your favorite so far?
Well, first of all, it's super important. I mean, that is what Virginia Tech's about, giving back, right? This is a two-way street, in my opinion. We ask for the fans to support us. We ask for the community to support us. We ask for the coaches in this state to support us. So in order to make that ask, to me, we got to give back wherever we can. And we had a 4-day youth camp. We had our first annual women's clinic. We've got 6 or 7 high school camps. We've had countless chalk talks across the Commonwealth. We always have an open door policy for high school coaches in the area. It's awesome. It's rewarding. And that, to me, is right for Virginia Tech, and it's definitely right for Brent Pry. The favorite one? I don't know. That's tough. Let me tell you, watching those 1st through 5th graders run around and wear our staff out.
Nice.
I said, normally you get $20 an hour for that.
That's right. That's
The
right.
only problem was we had 200 of them.
Yeah, well, Coach, we see a lot of videos of you guys and the staff, preaching, competition and perfecting the little things. But we also see you balancing out some fun on and off the field. So my question to you is, who is the ringleader on staff that kind of is involved in getting those activities together?
I'm going to tell you, everybody's got a pretty good sense of humor. And we have a staff that understands balance is important. And it starts with me, to be quite honest. I can't be the head coach I need to be if there's not some balance in my life.
Right.
I've seen too many guys trend downwards because it's all they do. It's all they are. And that's not the case around here. We pour into this thing with everything we got, but we take time, for staff golf outings, for family events. We do a lot together. That's, Blacksburg's a small community. Nobody lives more than 10, 12 minutes from one another. So we get together and celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. But we got some good ones. I mean, Sean Quinn, he's our staff foodie.
Yeah.
So, he's always thinking outside the box on what we can do from a food standpoint or restaurant standpoint.
Right.
But, we got a good group of guys that enjoy working together, enjoy being buddies.
Yeah, it looks like y'all always out there having a good time. I know y'all do like lake days from time to time and things like that. So it looks like there's always something going on to kind of break up the monotony of the work, right? And that helps. That helps with that competition piece too, because like if you can have that balance, you can go a lot harder when it's time to work.
I don't know how you can be on your A game all the time.
Right,
if you don't take time to decompress and put your mind and thoughts somewhere else, I don't know how you maintain A game. Like, to be at your best for your players, for the rest of the staff. Because when you're out of here for a day, right now, June, if we wanted to, it'd be really easy to work every single day in the month of June.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you have camps and official visits all weekend. So we take Wednesdays off. Nobody works on Wednesdays, and usually Tuesday about 3:00. Right now they're looking for that message from me that says, clear out of here, guys. Just so that when we come back, I mean, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're good. We can be who we need to be.
Love it.
Right.
Love hearing that. Yep.
Yes, sir.
I'll pivot it this way because this is this kind of goes into
question.
some of the camaraderie stuff and the coaches' personalities.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if you've been asked this by any other publication or podcast or anything you've been on. Have you been gifted any cheetah adorned apparel by Coach Jones?
Scary thing is, I think my wife has. I know this. We've gifted him some cheetah apparel.
There we go.
Now, I'll also say this. There's not one article of clothing in his wardrobe that doesn't contain some type of cheetah print on it. Just leave it at that.
All right.
It's either outward or it's lining, right? It's somewhere in there. He's got to represent. I like that.
We got a little bit of that cheetah, love going on, though. I mean, everybody feels it a little bit. So, somebody will show up with a cheetah socks on or cheetah shirt or, But when he shows up in a 3-piece cheetah suit, that's when, that's
it's about to be a good night.
Oh, God. I mean, that's like, you're going to the national championship game.
Hey, good.
Yeah, nice. But, Coach, we as fans, there's been a lot of uniform talk. And I know you might not know a lot about the program up there with you being the head man. So I was just going to say, if you did know anything about that and you want to talk about that, we're open to hear anything about any uniforms.
The thing I would tell you is this. My roots.
Yes.
When I was here, what things looked like.
Yes, sir.
You also know that I was at Penn State for 9 years, and what those units look like.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
And I think you have a sense of kind of what I'm about and what I believe about this place. And
yes, sir.
And it's just it was time to kind of let's dive into it, and it was a cool exercise to bring the former players on staff into a meeting and let's have a discussion about what we would like for the uniforms to look like. What did you enjoy wearing? What did you hate seeing on your uniform? Honestly.
That's important too. Just as important as what you like, what you don't like.
Yeah. And then the next meeting, the equipment staff and the ops staff, they literally had all these PowerPoints with these different combinations. Do you like this one? Yeah, we like the top, not the bottom. Not okay. And they mixed and matched it. Okay, so you like it? Well, no, we don't like that. I mean, it was like I was with my wife, out at the mall. I mean, but we finally got to a pretty good place, and it'll be exciting for everybody, I think, when we roll those out.
All right, Tally, Coach. I think Tally's going to request. Can we get that PowerPoint at some point so we can see all the combinations y'all had in mind? I'm going to go. This is kind of leading into the spring ball conversation. We'll get him back in here in a second. But I was thinking about the offense. And this year, what unit had your attention the most going into spring and why?
I think obviously the quarterback position, just, how we evolved there. I think needing the O-line to improve as the year went on and feeling good about that. There's a lot of tension on those guys. We were excited about the receivers, and that kind of proved true for us. We felt pretty good about the group because year previous, it was one of the major concerns we had. So, I think being able on the defensive side of the ball to win more one-on-one battles, we had to do that. That was a real focus going into the season. Are we going to be better, up front at doing that? And I say up front, and really the front seven, as much as we pressure. It's one, you can create one-on-ones, but then you got to win them. You got to win enough of them to make it count. So,
yeah, I know when we had Coach Price on earlier in the offseason, he was like, as Coach Morrow was getting into the defensive call, he's like, I want to run man. Let's run man. I want to get after the quarterback. I want to be disruptive. And it looks like, you guys kind of started moving that direction as 23 went on. So it's good to hear that, with retooling some of the interior defensive line, that mode is still moving forward. And as you said last time you were on, the emphasis was wide receiver, and seeing that come to fruition, I know was kind of big for you, and I'm sure kind of made you feel good about the direction that you took last offseason and then, the game plan for this offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm very proud of the work that Coach Mines has done. I think, it's good and bad, right? I'm proud of it, but then he gets all this attention from these other staffs around the country, guys trying to hire him. But he's done a great job, not just developing in that room, but the recruitment at the high school level and the transfer portal.
Yep.
So really we're hitting on all cylinders right there, and it shows. It's the most competitive room we have on the football team.
Love hearing that. Tally, you got back, man.
Hey, can y'all hear me? I'm still freezing a little bit.
We can hear you now. Go with that question you had before you got locked out.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask. I said we've been talking about clothes for a few minutes there, and we ain't want to harp on it too much, but we do want to know how can we get our hands on that hunger drills T-shirt you got, that 3-7 ? Shirt. How do we get our hands on that, Coach?
You like that one?
Yeah,
I like that one, man. I like that one.
That's a good one. Imagine standing in line and that's all you see from everybody in front of you. You know,
I'm just saying, if y'all put that out, I think we can make a little money on that one.
What size are you?
Probably about a 3X.
All right, you got a 4X coming your way.
You the man. Don't send Brian or Curtis one; they don't deserve it.
It was when y'all showed those shirts back in February. It was like you said. I like that thing because y'all line them up. Where do we want the question to be? What do we want the question to be? And let me ask this, because you talked a little bit about that defensive side of the ball. You lost a lot of good veteran players last year, Norrell Pollard, Mario Kendricks. But, you went back in to the portal, you and your staff, because I know it's not just you, it's everybody, and Aeneas Peoples, Copeland, and Gilliam. I mean, are those guys, did they just fit in like hand in glove when they first came in?
Yeah, and it's a credit to obviously the staff and our efforts in the recruitment, learning a lot. We knew a ton about Aeneas, a ton about Kelvin, a ton about Kamari. Just made too much sense. And you can never have enough depth on the D line. You can never have enough depth at D tackle. And to lose 3 good players there that were experienced and gave us a lot of value last year, to be able to go out and get 3, great job, by the staff, and great job by those kids, recognizing how they can impact our program. And then the icing on the cake, you go get Curtis Perry, who's a swing guy, play some strong side end, play some 3 technique. He's got 3 years left. You're just in a good situation. Kamari Copeland has 2 years. Kelvin Gilliam has 2 years. Aeneas was all ACC last year. So we've helped ourselves there. You always try and improve, right? You always want to be better than you were. And we had a pretty good group in there that did some good things. And we have a chance to have upgraded at that spot, which is tough to say with the way Pollard and Rio and those guys played.
Yeah, it was really impressive looking at what you guys were able to do at that position in the offseason. And the way you talked about it, the way they're kind of staggered, you got Aeneas, who's all ACC, got, kind of a good 1 year left for you. And then you got the other guys that are kind of staggered there that can give you 2 to 3 good years in the program. So that's important too. And, I think, when you think about this offseason, a lot of it's kind of been about managing the height that's kind of behind the program, right? Because last year it was about building it back. We were trying to build something, and now it's about kind of managing height. What's been your approach to keeping the team hungry and kind of recalibrating their focus for bigger goals in 2024?
First of all, we have plenty of weaknesses, and we work like hell to identify them, to improve on them. Not that we don't want to build on strengths, we do that as well, but that we had a lot of noise when we were 1-3, a lot of chatter, and we had to talk about how it doesn't mean anything. We know the team we can be, and so that doesn't change. Good noise, bad noise. It doesn't impact who we are, what we need to do. We're just into the 3rd phase of our off season. We phase 1's the winter, phase 2's the spring, phase 3's the summer, phase 4's preseason camp. So we still have a ton of work in front of us that we have to come out on top of to be the team that we can be.
Yeah, definitely. And Coach, I'll pivot a little bit to this. We've had Kyron on, and we've had you on. Great kid, know his family as well. And I know you've talked about him, and you had to talk about him a lot. But the question I'll ask you is, what part of his growth from last year when you got him are you excited about now?
He's gained a tremendous amount of confidence, rightfully so. Um, I think that the respect level on this team is really high for Kyron, the way he works, the way he approaches games, the way he handles adversity. And then lastly, from a skill set, just the ability to throw into tight coverage and be able to put that ball where our guys can catch it and they can't. When it's a tight window or there's good man coverage, and he's improved a bunch in that accuracy piece. So very proud of the offseason he's had.
Yeah. And I'm gonna switch gears just a little bit because I'm actually stealing somebody else's question, I believe. But I know you got Curtis Perry that's coming in there. With me being an Alabama native and him being an Alabama kid, know ton about him, man. He comes from a great high school, and their run that they had in high school, I think they went 14, 15-0, and he may have ended his senior year with about 23 sacks, which was ridiculous. So again, knew ton about him. So just was going to ask you a little bit about kind of how that came about or how you feel about him being able to pull him into that defensive line room.
Yeah, first of all, I have a lot of relationships in Alabama for a variety of reasons. Ton of high school coaches, recruited down there a bunch when I was at Louisiana Lafayette, when I was at Memphis, when I was at Vanderbilt, when I was at Penn State as the DC, and we won the Big Ten and had a stellar unit. 3 starters on our defense were from the state of Alabama. So we knew a lot about KP, and you put that high school film on, and it's easy to see how he ended up in Alabama. He's explosive. He's hard to block. He's got a ton of twitch. So, and then was the challenge to get to know him and to get to know his mom and to feel better about him fitting our locker room. And we weren't sure all the way through the weekend till the end. I love asking him those tough questions. Tell me about your relationship with Coach Saban. Tell me why you're leaving. Tell me about the D-line coach. What are some things that you got to do better? Let me ask you this, KP. How are you going to handle walking in a brand new locker room as a transfer? When you first walk in that D-line room, like, how are you going to handle that? Are you going to be, cocky and arrogant? Are you going to be, have humility? Like, what's it going to look? You just get into all that with those guys to make sure they understand, because they could be really talented, man, but they don't handle that transition. And we got great kids. Instead of guys like Fuga and these guys, Panay, stiff-arming these guys because they coming in to compete for their job, they embrace them. It makes our room better, their talent, and then the level of competition. Everybody around here has done a great job of putting the team first.
Awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome to hear, Coach. It's awesome to hear that you've created that culture where it's embracing. It's not, I don't want you here. It's, we need you here. And we're going to be honest. We saw, you see reports out everywhere, but it seemed like you and the staff went very aggressive post-spring portal with all the offers. When do y'all start formulating that? And how far ahead is it in the window? Or is it one of those things, it never stops?
Yeah, I say this. I mean, we're going to be aggressive because at the same time we're hitting that portal hard with offers, I'm meeting with each and every member of our football team. And you just don't know what curveballs you're going to have to hit.
Yep.
Was somebody that we're counting on going to walk in and leave and take more money somewhere else? Was somebody going to leave, because they want to play more? They want to be a starter, but they're a very important backup for us. So, you have to be aggressive to be able to fill needs if they show up. So we're going to be aggressive with offers, but we also knew we didn't have many spots unless attrition occurred that wasn't expected, which that didn't really happen. So that's why there was only the 3 late ads.
Let me ask this, just thinking about the spring window of the portal, how much harder is that window to kind of identify targets and make sure that, the guys that are on your roster, stay at home versus that bowl season window where it's a little bit wider and, it's postseason. So there's a little bit more don't want to say more to pick from, but I guess more options out there.
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's it's a little bit harder to navigate in December because there's so many candidates. The other piece for me is you just have to be that much more careful when you're dealing with guys that don't get to participate in spring practice. That's key. When these guys have to be able to come in and learn it through the summer without pads on. And there's always decisions about hanging on to a scholarship, and is there a walk-on your team that's deserving, versus going out. We don't want to be a group that just takes a good player out of the portal because he's a good player. We want to fill needs out of the portal. Otherwise, those scholarships are invested at the high school level.
That makes sense, and I love hearing that. And thinking about you're always big on relationships, so I'm sure that's just the biggest piece of it, is making sure the fits right, and that that relationship is there where everyone is going to get out of the situation what they want to get out of it. So
I don't ever take for granted what our players have been able to do. I mean, we had all those guys return, all that retention, guys that could have gone to the NFL or gone somewhere else and made more money. And I don't want to take that for granted. I don't want to be greedy. I don't want to push the envelope to where we lose that from our team. Right now, our guys have been super unselfish and team-oriented. And if you start making, kind of irrational decisions and you start bringing in guys that don't belong in your locker room, you're going to lose that trust. You're going to lose that aspect of it.
Yeah, and building that culture.
There's been guys that have spent time here on official visits, and at the end of the visit, as talented as they were, we couldn't do it. It just wasn't right for us.
Yeah, I mean, culture goes both ways, and you're building that trust in the locker room too. So being able to maintain that while you're also trying to improve your roster, I'm sure that's a tough balancing act sometimes. But it seems like you're doing pretty well thus far. Let's pivot a little bit to another guy that is kind of a new ad here for the post spring. Caleb Spencer, Virginia kid, returns from Miami. Had 100 snaps or so last year, valuable special teams reps and things like that, and seems to be bringing that position versatility that you talked about from the defensive back position. Have you and Coach Marv kind of landed on what room he's going to start at in fall camp?
Yeah, he's going to start out at the star position, but he's demonstrated already. I think he'll have a good opportunity to help us, at will, and maybe one day at Mike. He's a physical looking kid. He's got some twitch to him. Got a good build. I mean, he just, and again, another guy that we knew a lot about, right? A Richmond native that had gone somewhere, just like KG. I hope the message is getting out there. You don't have to go outside the state, to get what you want. I mean, these guys are coming back home just like APR did. You go off to a program that perception-wise may offer you more, but you end up finding success back here in the Commonwealth at Virginia Tech. And that can be, it's APR, it can be KG, it can be, all these guys. It can be Caleb Spencer, these guys that have been able to come back and have success.
Yeah, that's something I can see you continue to preach, and it also shows relationships, because you clearly, even though they're elsewhere, I can tell you're valuing relationships with people that mean something to them, which makes, I'm sure, the transition significantly easier. And you had one more, and we don't think about it, but Colin Shealy, who was all the way over at UCLA, is actually a Maryland kid, right in Tyler Bowen's home state. How big was it? Not only was there a relationship with Tyler, or maybe when he was at Kent State, and how crucial is it that helped bring him on, but how crucial is it having another quarterback in that room? Colin was a starter at Kent State and had significant reps as a backup last year. How big is that for that room?
Yeah, he fits what we were looking for. I mean, we hit a home run, and you're going out there trying to find a backup quarterback, and you can sign a guy like that. He fits our offense. He's a great young man. He's 23 years old. He's regional. He knows a ton about us. We knew a ton about him in high school. We had coaches on staff at Kent State. We had coaches on staff at UCLA. Spent a big, long weekend with him and his family and his girlfriend, and really a good fit for us. Excited about what he brings to the program. There'll be a package for him that helps our offense. It's somebody else that can do things with the ball in their hands.
Gotta love to hear that. And also, it's you guys, like, I feel like the whole staff, y'all know somebody on every staff, and again, it's that constant. That's what it is, relationships, finding someone who knows them to have that quick conversation. I love hearing that. Brian,
I tell you what, I mean, you're right, and part of it is that our staff is approachable and genuine and friendly.
Yep.
That's what was right for me. That's what was right for Virginia Tech. And that bleeds out there. I mean, these guys are relational guys. They got buddies everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, we've had some of the staff on, obviously you last year and some of the other guys, and that's the takeaway that I have from every conversation I've had with your staff is that they're genuine, they're people. They love to talk, they love to get to know folks, and they're just really approachable and down to earth. And I think that resonates across the board.
Resonated at Hardywood with me and Brian. We talked to you a couple minutes. We spent 15 minutes talking to Coach Brewer and Coach, just chit-chatting with them. It was it felt easy, so I loved hearing that.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
I appreciate you saying that, Brian. That's who we are, and that's been really impactful into the relationships with these players, with this community, with the lettermen, with the high school coaches. It's been at the core of how we're doing this.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I think it's paying dividends, and I think everybody sees it. So, well done.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Definitely.
We're gonna flip it back a little bit. Let's talk a little 2023, and this is actually a question that our buddy Sheldon kind of dropped in here. He wanted to get your take on this. A lot was made, and you already brought it up a little bit with the start with 1-3 from the outside. Everybody seemed like guys were, even when the first few games, the losses came, no one was finger pointing, no infighting, none of that. Everyone had their heads on straight and kind of worked to get better. Did you notice that too? And how do you feel the group responded collectively to that adversity?
Yeah, I tell you, it brought their brotherhood even closer together. Rather than go this way and start blaming one another, they did this. And that was critical in us getting over the hump. They stayed together. They kept investing. We did a nice job of encouraging them, showing the positives, talking about the positives. This is the team we can be. And we eliminate a few weaknesses, a few mistakes here and there, and this is going to look different. And they just bought in. And the staff persevered and stayed the course and trusted the process, and we were able to turn the corner.
How do you feel? Do you feel like that's a reflection of the culture that you built with the staff, or is that just something that with the mindset of these players in those specific unit that you were working with?
I think it starts with the staff. It's what these guys are made of. It's what they believe in. I can't be in every room all the time. I mean, these guys are trusted assistants that carry forth with the messaging and the narrative and the values of the program. And it goes back to recruiting the right families, the right young men that are looking for this. They want accountability. They understand hard conversations. They want mentality. They want, the competitive environment, all those things. That's a big part of it, right? It's identifying the right folks for you.
Well, Coach, we know Travis jumped in there. We know you're a busy man.
Can you edit that out, or is that going to be part of the podcast?
Tell Travis he's going to be part of the podcast.
Travis is trying to get some airtime. All those years of all that airtime, and now he's behind the scenes. He can't stand it.
I tell you got to tell Travis we're going to keep him in just because he's done us so many good favors. So we're going to keep him in there just so he gets that FaceTime.
But Coach, we know you're a busy man. We appreciate you taking 30, 40 minutes out of your day to sit with us, have a few conversations. Tally, Brian, anything else y'all want to add before we
Well,
let Coach
I'm just
go
gonna,
and send
yeah, I'm
everybody
gonna
the
let
message?
Coach. Yeah, I'm gonna let Coach get out of here. I'm gonna just say I know he's got a bit of a homecoming headed back to Nashville. That's about 2 hours away from my home, so I know you're gonna be all business. So I'll take care of the partying for you. Y'all just get ready for the game, and I'll take care of everything else, Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
See
gonna be
y'all in
there in full
Nashville.
force, so it's gonna
Yes,
be a
sir.
good time in Nashville for sure.
Definitely.
I
Well, we appreciate
you,
you,
guys.
Coach.
Appreciate
Yes,
your
sir.
coverage. Really
Yes,
do.
sir.
Appreciate
Thank you.
what you do for the Hokies.
Always,
Yes, sir.
Coach. Thank you, and looking forward to talking to you again sometime.
Yes, sir.
Right. Awesome,
Take care.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we will take a quick break from Main Street Pharmacy and our digital partners.
I can probably save you a lot of money, and I can take a lot better care of you. That's pretty much it. My name is Jeremy Counts, and I'm a pharmacist. I own and operate Main Street Pharmacy here in downtown Blacksburg. My brother's a pharmacist, I'm a pharmacist, my uncle's a pharmacist, my dad's a pharmacist. I remember he would give me M&Ms to count in little pill counters. This is something I've always done, and I'm just lucky that what I know so well is something that I can do and feel good about it and give back to people. Pharmacies are your frontline defense. Pharmacy's job is to make sure you're getting optimal care for the lowest price possible. Also, we take the pressure off of emergency rooms. I'll tell people immediately when they need to go to the doctor, or I'll tell them if they just need a cream over the counter. If there's something that isn't commercially available, if it's something that's not available in a certain strength or a certain form or anything like that, we'll make it. Tailor-made medications. Some of those options save people a lot of money. What motivates me? I get to take care of people and live in Blacksburg. That's all I need.
As we take a quick break, we'd like to tell you about getting your free website report from our digital partner, Grassroots Digital Marketing Studio. They'll tell you how your website ranks on Google, on-site SEO, and social media. No commitment to buy anything. You can get your free report by visiting grassrootsdigitalstudio.com/free-website-report. Now back to the episode.
All righty, so we are back, and before we talk about the interview and a couple things that caught our ears, I want to throw this one up. At CJ put this out here. This is pretty cool to see about Coach Pry right here when he retired from the military, sending something like that. I mean, we've talked to him now twice, and that legitimately seems, like who he is, right? As far as it goes.
Again, we said it on the interview, like genuine, down to earth. The whole staff's like that, but it starts with the head whistle. He's creating that culture, and it's trickling down to everybody else. And it's not just them feeding off his energy, but also he picked the right people to be around too. So I mean, that's huge. And we got a little sentimental one there. Let's get a little funny one here.
Hello, Robbie. Oh man, Robbie, I don't even know what to say to that.
I mean, that is the highest order right there. I mean, it doesn't get. I mean, he put Prince on there, so
oh god,
it's Prince and then everybody else. So if he's up there in that category, that's saying something.
Absolutely.
You ain't gonna throw MJ in there?
It's Prince, then MJ, and then everybody else. How
Everybody
about
else.
that? How about that?
How about this? We didn't got Andretti fired up tonight, man.
He ready for some football?
We're ready for some football. 80 days or so, and I'm gonna do this one just because that's the first thing I want to talk about, because that one was a late ad, and we got more than I thought we were gonna get out of Coach on that one. So now y'all have heard it from the head man of how this thing was framed. We talked when this thing wrapped yesterday. The first thing we three said to each other, that was pretty cool. He was bringing in the guys on the staff who played there and said, what do y'all think? That's like, again, it's like that's awesome. Like, that's the first thing you do, because you think back currently on the staff right now, JC, Pearson, mid-90s guys. Then you got a DB. Then you've got
a DB wore in my opinion, the best uniforms we've ever had.
Find a picture of it. You talking about the ones with the
piping,
with the piping?
Yeah.
So what do you Tally? I'm gonna pitch it to you as your question. What do you think we're getting, man?
It's gonna be a traditional look. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that makes me a little bit nervous is because, like you said, my roots. It's probably not gonna be a lot of variance. You know what I'm saying? You may get an alternate jersey, you may not. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes me a little bit nervous, but we gotta get rid of them shoulder stripes. So
Yeah.
I mean, if we go with a traditional jersey and it looks clean, it looks good, I'm fine with that. It's just got to look good. Like, if you're going to stick with it, then you got to make it look good. So I think they'll get it right, though. Give me some orange in there somewhere.
Yeah, we need an orange. I want to, I know we're going to get traditional, but I want unique traditional. I don't want like cookie cutter Nike, like main template stuff that you've been seeing. Like, I know Baylor got like some of that stuff and a couple other schools. Like, I don't want the cookie cutter type stuff. I want something that is definitely either distinctly throwback or something new that's kind of a combination of some of those classic looks we've had. I don't want to just get a cookie cutter, like, first tier Nike template and roll with it.
Well, it doesn't seem like it was that way, especially with the PowerPoint. I mean, and if they're sitting in there, what combinations work well together? I mean, there were obviously, we know in the last few years there's been an orange. There was an orange in, I believe, the 90s. I can't remember which game it is, but there was an orange in the 90s as well. Mm-hmm. So, but I do think the stripes are gone. Yeah. And Tally, we said it. I don't know if we said it on the air, but we said if you go with the classic maroon, I know we all like the one thing that is good now. I do like the Hokies Stone numbering on the things. I like that. But as long as, Tally, what we say, on the arms, baby.
If they put the orange numbers on now on the maroon jersey,
Tally buying 10. Tally buying 10 of them.
I'll be all right with that. But I got no confidence in Nike. That's my problem. When Brian talks about, no cookie cutter and stuff like this, and it's fucking Nike. You know what I'm saying? Like, what have they done for us? That's what I'm thinking about. So
they ain't done much lately, man. I'll give you that one. And when we think about it, we also saw last week, I think it was last week or early this week, the Mike Vick put out that they might get some orange on the sleeves.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, I don't know if he meant the numbers or if he meant like kind of that Tyrod look. Right down here. That he wore a few times. The
only reason I think it'd be cool is because I just ain't seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me something. I kind of want something like nobody else has. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like something just unique. Nothing crazy. Don't give me no Maryland bullshit. Like, I don't need no flag on the helmet looking like a AFL team or nothing like that. I'm just saying, give me something unique though.
I think what we can see is like you picture and you start snapshotting stuff. We have enough classic vibes from different eras that if you mesh them in a certain way and you put like the orange sleeves, but if you had the outlining with the Hokies Stone 7s with the right shape, like you can bring certain elements together where if they do, it looks classic, but it's got enough fresh vibes to be like this hits. Like this hits. It's not only it's classic, but these little elements make it, like you say, Tally, it's got to be a little different. So hopefully this is before August, so Tally can get his order and be wearing it in Nashville. So can Brian as well. So let's roll on. And, we got a few things that caught our ear about the players. And I want to start with Curtis Perry first. Because, Tally, you and Coach had a little conversation about him back and forth. But the thing that caught my ear, and as soon as he said it, I'm like, what'd he say? I had to go back and listen to it a second time. When he mentioned strong side defensive end, he said that. His words, not mine, not me speculating, not us speculating. With the loss of CJ McCray for pretty much the summer and probably a lot of fall camp.
Right.
To have somebody like Perry Stature, Tally, you saw that kid play, obviously. You've got the download on him. That could be a massive upgrade for the defensive end depth, man, because there's 3 good players there already. You add him.
That's what it is, man. It's just all about depth. You know what I'm saying? It's about competition. It's about depth. What's always held us back one person goes down, and it's a significant drop off after that person goes down. So it seems like now we're bringing in people that are, depth pieces, but also like these people could stand up, could step up and play a big role. Like even when we go, not to just jump forward, but even when we talk about Spencer, he's had significant snaps at Miami. You know what I mean? That's a Power 5 school, Power 4 school, whatever you want to call it nowadays. But seeing the field at those schools, or even going against, that kind of competition in practice and being able to, have some kind of success. Again, we see what APR done. I ain't saying everybody's gonna come in and do exactly what he did, but sometimes you just need a shot. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it'll be interesting, man. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see the kids compete this year, but also I'm excited I'm excited for somebody just put up the game. What's the game? When it's coming out? The 19th. Yeah, we ready. Robbie, let's get on it. Fuck.
Yeah. I think Robbie's making a special purchase just for that game. So
he is. Brian, what did you think about the Curtis Perry comments from Coach?
Man, I think the biggest thing for me is that he's always talking about, that position flexibility and, having a guy that can play outside, play inside, play a little strong side DN, play some 3 technique. Always going to be a guy that can get after the passer. So I think, regardless of where you're lining him up, you're going to get some type of production, especially in those 2nd and 3rd down situations. So having another guy that you can put in that rotation, you're going to want to go, at least 2 lines deep, sometimes 3 lines deep. The more you can kind of mix and match guys at those different positions, the better. So getting a guy that has some position flexibility there and creates a lot more depth, like Tally said, on the defensive line. That's nothing but good things.
Nothing but good things.
And to go back to the defensive line too, I mean, it's all about matchups. Like it don't matter. I mean, it does matter what you do this year, but I'm saying before any game is played, every team's gonna put on the tape and say, we got to block him.
Yep.
We can't double. We gonna have to try to double him. So that gives somebody else an opportunity to, to flash. So sometimes it's a collective unit. You know what I'm saying? Having somebody who has a big year like APR, you got it. That's what we've been missing. We haven't had somebody who teams have to game plan for.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Especially like on defensive line.
Well, hold on. It's 2 down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
now you got more than one. So who do you double? You know what I'm saying? So some of these guys who are going to be plugged in are going to reap some benefits because they just may be faster or better than that man in front of them, and they don't have an opportunity to be schemed against because Peoples might be getting schemed against, or APR may be schemed against. So it's just seeing Burgos come off that end. I don't know too many people who are going to just, manhandle him one-on-one.
Yep.
If he's just told, just go get the ball. You know what I'm saying? So,
and the other part about that is, even if they say, well, he's shown some flash, let's keep the running back in, let's keep the tight end in, and the next thing you know, you're rushing 4, you're dropping 7 on the back end, and it's like it's a 7-on-3 game because you're playing max protect because you're worried about everybody up front. It's like okay, y'all have to do something different. Because we got 7 people back there. 3 people ain't going to be able to get uncovered quick. Yep. So, yeah. The other thing Coach seemed pretty jacked about, and now that he said it, is the interior defensive line, the way it's set up, really the next 3-4 years. Peoples this year, Copeland and KG still got 2 years of eligibility. Perry got – that's a room I know we were worried about it now because of the moves they made. In every sense, it's like
you upgrade that. You upgrade that line.
Upgraded it and leveled it. It ain't like 3 1-year rentals.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean we got rid of guys that were moving on. It was all 3 guys at one time, and what you brought in now, you got those staggered over the next 3 cycles. And I think that's going to be huge, and that's going to pay a lot of dividends because it helps backfill that position as well when it comes to high school recruiting. You don't have to worry about, I think, and that's the problem we got with, I don't want to talk about the old regime too much, but the problem with the old regime a lot of times was that we would load up on one position in one cycle, and then we kind of do that again with another position in the next cycle. And that's when you end up with, wide receivers transferring out and 12 scholarship running backs. Like,
Yeah.
That's how those things happen. And then it also is how, we needed, a COVID year and a couple medical red shirts so that we actually had a defensive line last year, right?
Not a joke.
And so, things like that are how you get into that situation, and things that Coach Pry and Coach Price have done the last 2 off seasons is how you get yourself out of it.
100% on that. Last piece that, again, I had not read anywhere. If y'all had read somewhere, or if it was out there and I just missed it in the last month or so, Spencer, he's seeing as a linebacker, starting at star, might work at will, might work at Mike.
I knew he was working in at linebacker some at Miami. Like, he saw some reps there up and back. But I think everybody, kind of assumed we were looking at him as safety, number one, because it was a need, number two, because coming out of high school, that was his position, right? So,
yeah.
But I can see where he would do that, and I can also see where if he's playing that star, you could also use him at potentially some nickel as well. And give yourself, a situation where you don't necessarily have to do a ton of substitutions when you get into those third down situations.
Yeah, true. Man, he's 6'2", 200 pounds, 210 pounds. So, good size, good frame. But again, it goes right back to competition, because when you look at that star position and you look at the athletes that they have there now, you're going to have to compete for you're going to have to compete for some playing time. So that's what you want, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have that, and you got to have some versatility in all these places, because it's football. Somebody's going to have to take a playoff. Somebody's going to roll an ankle. You know what I'm saying? So as many athletes as you can put on the team that can help contribute, the better.
Yeah. And I think we had talked about it when we had, some folks on after the spring that, I think our concern was, I think front end level. We were not concerned about the front end level play of the safeties. We were concerned about the depth. When we looked at some of the other linebacker position, particularly Will, I think we were worried about who's going to be, one of those rotational pieces. So, this is going to, I think, help with that, between him being the star, potentially working at Will some. So, that's only going to add to that depth and add to the guys that they can put out there, and potentially be, counted on for significant snaps in a game.
Well, it tells you too, probably, I think maybe what they saw with Caleb Woodson and Gabe inside too, right? Even though he mentioned he's going to get some run at them at Mike and Will, but there were 2 guys playing star that those 2 young guys, we know Woodson can play. He showed it last year. And by all accounts of what we saw and heard from practice, Gabe looked good at star, but he also went inside and played some Will.
Yep.
Right.
So is this one of those things where coach is looking and saying, I see Caleb and I see Gabe inside. Keontae's gone next year.
I could see Caleb being Mike before it's all said and done. So, I think that's where it's kind of trending, is that you're going to kind of see Woodson continue to slide further inside into that Mike role. You're going to probably see Gabe, once he gets a little bit more weight, be Kelly Lawson's kind of shadow, and because he's got a very similar frame, just not quite as long, but very similar frame. I think you could see him sliding in at will. And then, we'll see what happens with Caleb Spencer and where he ends up in the shuffle there.
Absolutely. Anything else that caught y'all's ears, eyes while we were talking? Because this is the second time we talked to Coach, and y'all, we aren't prompting the answers. We have the questions we want to ask. He answers them the way we want to answer them. But he threw some shit down like whoa. I don't. He just told the 3 guys.
Yeah. Well, I know what caught my ear.
What was that?
He gonna send me one of them motherfucking shirts. That's what caught my ear. So when y'all see me with one of them shirts on, I don't want nobody to be in your feelings because I'm up in there. I ain't talking about y'all. I'm just talking about in the Twitterverse.
Everybody out there in the world.
Yeah,
if you see
in
Tally walking with one of them,
just know I'm part of the staff. I'm up in there. Let me get one of them shirts, Coach.
Oh my gosh. Well, we'll see if that comes to fruition. He's got your mailing address now, so
yeah, I'm trying to get that thing, man.
Oh, that would be absolutely sick. All right. Well, we got just a few more things to hit here before we call it a night. An early night for us, by the way, an early night. But one thing I just wanted to talk about real quick. I know y'all saw it announced a couple weeks ago. Tyrod, Dwayne Brown going to the Hokies Hall of Fame. I mean, well deserved. Well deserved. Those 2 guys, absolute studs. Dwayne, a first round pick. Still playing, 16 years in, right here from Richmond. And Tyrod, I mean, 3-time champion in the ACC Player of the Year, his senior year. It just harkens you back to, again, we keep saying, like, guys like that, that's how you get back. That's how you get back. You got to have guys like that. And those guys were leaders. Dwayne Brown came in as a tight end and converted. I still make the joke to Brian, which Kurt Newsome then thought he could make every single tight end he brought in a offensive lineman. It'd be like, what's this guy? He's 6'2", 220. He got to gain 88 pounds to even be thinking about it. We can do it, though.
Some of them he got there though, so I mean, I'm not going to give him too much of a hard time. But like you said, man, Dwayne Brown, Tyrod Taylor. Absolute legends of that era. So well deserved across the board for both of them. And obviously both of them still, productive in the league. So I think that's a credit to their longevity. And I think with Tyrod, obviously everybody knows how we feel about Tyrod, and I know a lot of Hokie Nation feels the same way. Just a special talent, special person. So couldn't happen to a better person.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you this, man. I ain't gonna get real deep on it tonight because we ain't had a whole bunch of banter on Twitter about it lately. But when we talk about the stars don't matter or do matter scenario all the time.
Yep.
Let me tell you something. When you go back and you look at a tape of Tyrod playing quarterback, that's why you want a 5-star.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I ain't saying you got to get a whole team full of them, but we got to. I think now that Pry and his staff have been recruiting pretty much at a high level from what I see. People's calmed down a lot on what we said, but like we was making, everybody's got to be Cam Chancellor. Everybody's got to be Dwayne Brown. You can have some Cams and you can have some. Well, first of all, you can't. You ain't gonna have none of them. Like they were themselves. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying you got to get some players that's sure hits like Tyrod. You know what I'm saying? And Tyrod doing Tyrod stuff is what made that team go. Now, they had a lot of pieces on there, but every now and then you got to have that player that you just like David Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a can't miss. Like this is what we need. Like that's what we've missed for a long time. And I just thought about it because I went back and seen some Tyrod highlights, and I'm like, who else could make that play?
Nobody.
You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna make that? Yep. So,
and he was always doing good. Like he was so good at protecting the ball too.
Yeah,
so he
was
just making plays while not turning the over, not doing anything outside of the framework of what was right for that given play. I think that was what was always great about him, is that he never got himself in trouble trying to be too much of a hero, but he was just such a gamer. He was making plays all over the place.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's happening slowly. I mean, I think last year, to think about it, like Caleb Woodson. I know we've mentioned him 4 times now. Caleb was right at that 4-star level. It's like he's gonna be a good player. He comes right in. He's looking good his first year, and then I take that back. He looked absolutely yoked on the field. He won't even in school yet.
Right.
Then he comes in. He plays significant reps, plays defense, plays special teams, makes some plays. And then he looks more yoked this year, and he's playing even at a higher level in spring ball. And that's what it is. You start looking at it. Tally, I know we don't always look at stars, but it's like, look at that kid right at a 4-star, already playing good. Look at this kid.
And the reason I said that is because we started to, when you start to look at the roster, you see some of those high-level kids, you know what I'm saying, coming in at wide receiver or, at quarterback. Like, even when you look at Kyron, like, Kyron wasn't no scrub. That's why I keep telling people, like, if you go back, Kyron was a high-level player coming out of high school. And so us seeing him do the things he's doing is like, to me, once you see somebody, on film, you're like, all right, he just got it. Like, that's what it is. So, yeah, they do get some of those ratings wrong, but when you see somebody and they just got it, it's like, okay, that's what we've been missing. So,
and you mentioned that. Well, what happened I think it was a few weeks ago, they came out, 247 always does the blue chip thing. Doug Bowen wrote it. Tech's over 10% blue chips, which,
that's crazy.
It's over.
That's crazy compared to where we came from, the war criminal, Justin. Matter of fact, let's talk about this for a minute. Where is Justin? Where is Justin?
Sitting with 8 figures in his bank.
Where is Justin at?
He is still spending his buyout, man.
So I don't know, man. They used to, how they used to have on the old movies and stuff where people were selling the snake oil, and like you'll go back to get your money back, and they'll have like the little cart that has the propellers on it that it'll take off. That's what he did. Like he took up shop and he was gone, and nobody's heard from him. I don't know, man. He was the. You know what? It was like the movie Inside Man. It was the greatest crime ever committed. Damn. That dude, Justin Aloysius Fuentes.
Aloysius.
Man.
Aloysius,
man. And let's talk about it though, because you talked about the stars versus no stars and all this stuff, and I think we kind of went through. I say we collective. I feel like the collective fan base kind of went through a period where we were like, I got to try to explain what's going on here because something ain't right. But the only thing I can do is hope that every damn 3-star we're pulling in is Cam Chancellor.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like, you know what I'm saying? You had a little bit of success and stuff like that. And we ain't got to go all back through it. But it's like, for me, like, it was a learning lesson for me. So I'm paying attention to my guys that's like boots on the ground.
Yep.
Now you got some crazy people that be talking some crazy ass shit, but like people that I trust, you know what I'm saying? Even during that time, they was like, I got to give, people like Don V shout outs, being, from the area and say, well, I got coaches here and this is what they saying. And I'm like, man, this like some of the stories just were so unbelievable. I was like, it's no way that he said that or he done that. Yeah, he was doing it. He was doing it. So
make you shake your damn head. All right, real quick, y'all. We did land a recruit this week. Sheldon Robinson, 88 ranked for 247, 6'2", 185 from Woodbury Forest, where we have never had any recruiting success.
That's a UVA pipeline, baby.
Pipeline, man. Just going in there, taking the lunch money. I just want to let Tally know this is a big check for Tally. Pat Narduzzi and Pitt did offer this safety. So
that mean he can play some fucking defense. Because Narduzzi be grabbing them boys from everywhere and they be hitting. Narduzzi be running that defense. I gotta give him his props, man.
There you go. Yeah. So there's certain teams that if we get an offer on with my 2 guys here, if I just mention that offer, it's like, nope, good hire. Don't care. I like this right there. Brian,
what I liked about that, which I haven't done a whole bunch of video gazing or anything like that, but what I did like about that kid is like he posted himself in Hokie stuff a long time ago. So again, it goes back to the people that's boots on the ground that says a lot of these kids love Tech, man. A lot of these kids want to, go to Virginia Tech, but they just weren't made as if they were wanted there. They weren't made to feel like they was wanted there. So it's good to see that the coaching staff has, kind of put a priority on that and started going and recruiting kids who want to play there, regional kids. So that's awesome.
Did you get a chance to see any tape, Brian?
I looked. I didn't really see a whole lot out there,
Okay.
but I'm gonna continue looking. But I don't really have any takeaways at this point.
Other than 6'2", 190 pounds.
Yeah, all the measurables look good.
All the measurables look good. Kid ran some track as well. And I don't know what this means, but sub 11 and 100-meter dash. Is that good for a 6'2", 190-pound guy?
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, sub 11.
Yeah.
All right, what is it? 10.97. So we'll see.
I mean, short of under 10 is elite. So
Yeah, I'm 10's elite. Where's 11 where's under 11 for a football player? So yeah. Anything else floating y'all's boat y'all want to mention? We already got some stuff off Tally's chest, so that's good before he gets down to the Caribbean and starts having his drinks.
Man. Yeah.
Tally, what do you call it? The thing they made for you? You sent it a few weeks ago to us.
Oh shoot!
Tally.
Well, they just was calling it the Tally. That was it.
The Tally.
Yep. I don't know what it was, but I'm gonna see if they can recreate it.
Damn
there
right.
you go.
I'm gonna come back. Listen, I'm gonna be out there like Rick Ross. I ain't gonna have no shirt on. I'm gonna be living the life, buddy. Enjoying myself. So if we get some recruits, y'all write them down. Somebody post Blueface for me. I'll see it when I get back.
We got you.
All right. We got you. We got you. All right. If nothing else has broken tonight, that is going to wrap up this episode of the Boundary Corner podcast, brought to you by Dr. Jeremy Counts in Blacksburg, Virginia, at the Main Street Pharmacy. I am Curtis Wilson.
Brian Siegler.
Jonathan Talley.
Visit boundarycornervt.com to listen to all the episodes. Check the merchandise shop out, all that fun stuff. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I ain't said this in a while. I forgot how to say it, y'all. We're on all the major podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts. So listen to us there. Check out our buddy Jason Long website, jasonlongmusic.com. You can see where he's playing down in the New River Valley. Also, all of his new music and all that fun stuff. Boys, it's summer. We aren't getting together as often, but I love talking to you, Tally. Enjoy your vacay. Siegel, I'm
Yes,
sure
sir.
I'll see you next week, man.
Yes, sir. Poker night.
Man,
baby.
you enjoy yours too. Tear that Buc-ee's up when you go there.
Will do, buddy. And as
Yes,
always,
sir.
fellas, let's go.
Hokies.